And it says we're live.
As usual, it lies.
Yeah.
Oh, let's see here.
Yeah.
What? Oh. Okay. If you want to provide or internet, also UV protection, donate here because Lord have mercy, it's bright out there today.
We actually have sun.
Yeah, we have sun. I'm in shorts. It's great. If you like coffee, talk to these guys. They have a blend called Blanket Fort, named after us. It's really good.
Yes.
If you order from them, let them know you heard about it here. Maybe they'll send us some more. Yeah, one of those days. That should be about it.
Yeah.
John has said we need to talk about the next book. Your Honor, I can explain. We'll get around to that.
Speaking of books, two friends of ours have books up today. The first is Holly Chisholm with a new book out called The Schrodinger Paradox.
Well done, Holly.
Cataclysm. I was honored to be able to beta read it. It is an excellent book.
Well done.
There's some twists and turns in there you don't always expect.
That's the best way.
And the other one is Stephanie Osborne.
Go, Stephanie.
Who has, this one is interesting. I have not read it yet, but I bought it. It's called Meetings. A lone boy orphaned by the Nazis and imprisoned in a concentration camp. A dragon-like being elected to the leadership of the galactic government. What do these two beings have in common? Nothing.
I wouldn't think.
Why would they meet in one of the most war-torn regions on Earth? And what does it mean for Earth and the galaxy?
Stephanie's flexing her
yes
offer muscles. Well done.
This could be interesting in many ways. And apparently it's book one. So
she's going for series.
There will be more following.
Well done.
So that's where we stand on that. Oh, and I did finally get author copies of Twisted Tropes. So rather than coming in onesies, I got the rest of them.
Oh, really?
So the authors will be getting their copies sometime in the near future. And yes, we did get the package, Ben. Thank you very much. And
John has already threatened us.
Yeah. So yes, we got Division 1 books from Stephanie are also excellent. The other thing I'd like to point out, Larry put up a post today about I guess the best way to call it is work ethic and powering through when things don't go right. Strongly recommend y'all go over and read that. It's an excellent post. Sanford.
No.
Space Marines, there's not a clunker in the butts. There's some good stories in there.
We've got a really good selection of authors that decided to give us a shot. So I don't know that we've come across many clunkers in our anthologies.
No, I had a couple that were just too short to put in Twisted Tropes. Larry's post is definitely a good one. And it comes down to, having a work ethic and carrying that work ethic through life. Because anybody that's ever gotten up at dark 30 in the morning and milk cows for a living does not want to go back to doing that.
No.
Because that's 24/7, 365 with no breaks. And the weather doesn't care. The cows want to be milked.
Yeah. It's not so much they want, they're demanding.
Yeah.
Cows. There's a reason we eat them.
Yeah. And I put up another snippet this morning on my blog, which note to self, do not try to write blog posts when you're hurting and have just taken drugs. Because I oopsied and hit copy paste not once, but twice on two different things.
Really good drugs.
Yeah. Yeah. Or feed the beef breeders. Infantry was an easier life. Yep. Fail fast, fail often, and get up and try again. Yeah. They, every day is exactly the same unless something went wrong. Yeah. My first paid job, paid, quote, quote, where I got a W 2 was $1.25 an hour working for a veterinarian. And one of my jobs was literally shoveling shit out of stalls. And he had a mule that was determined to kill me. And every time I got in the stall to try to clean that damn thing out, that mule would start sidling over trying to crush me against the side of the stall.
I didn't realize W-2s were a thing in the 1700s.
Yeah, shut up. Yeah. And no, I don't want to go back to doing that. Not that I could physically anymore, but
Oh, you'd make yourself. If you had to, you'd make yourself.
yeah.
Work ethic and all
Yeah.
that.
Ouch. Sarah, I didn't do anything to the damn mule. He was.
Jim existed. That's all the mule needed to know.
Yeah. Now, when Doc Winchester would get in the stall with him, that mule would move away from him. So obviously he knew something I didn't.
Because Doc Winchester had the needles.
Yeah, exactly.
Where'd my nuts go? Oh, Doc Winchester.
Yeah.
Ook, get paid. Yes.
Yep. People are getting royalties.
Yes, they are. And Jono was kind enough to follow up with some folks that had forgotten a couple of steps in the getting paid part.
Hey, Dan, good to see you. Good to see everybody. It's always interesting when you screw up who gives you a phone call.
That's a segue I wasn't expecting.
Well, our friend Tom Beatty called me this morning. Went, hey, did you mean to do what you did in the post? I said, what? And he says, you double pumped it. I went, frack. And Tom is a retired chemical engineer and now a firearms instructor out on the East Coast.
Came by and visited us, didn't he?
Yeah. And
made the pilgrimage to the Monkey Fort.
Yeah. We got to talking about work ethic and other things. And one of the...
My forearm's cramping. Keep talking.
Oh, I've got a pill for that.
What a pill.
One of the things that we got to talking about, what is good enough? And that applies in many, many things. But we specifically got to talking about what is good enough for your average Joe concealed carry person.
Good enough for your average Joe concealed carry is gun sight 250 and mag 40.
Yeah. If they can get it, if they can afford it. But it boils down to, we kind of thought three things. Being able to hit what you're aiming at. Being able to do the pistol drills effectively. In other words, reload the pistol, malfunctions, and round count, although most people can't keep count of how many rounds they fired anyway. And the last thing is manipulation of the pistol. In other words, how do you draw it and where from? From your belt, from a purse, underneath a jacket. Many of those things. The other thing that comes into that is sex and age. When you're in fine shape, you're in your 20s, your 30s. Yeah, I'll get to that, Sarah. Yeah, there is discernment. You can rack a slide fairly easily. You can do those manipulations. You can see what you're shooting at. You're not wearing glasses. Well, most people aren't. Some people aren't. And as you age, all those things become an issue. And, there are a lot of people out there that, Oh, well, I shot the fast drill in 2.5 seconds or whatever. Larry puts up some posts about shooting the various drills.
Man puts in the work too.
Huh?
Man puts in the work too.
Yeah, he does. That's probably one of the key points. It's not about just taking a class and walking out of that class and knowing everything. Just because you carry a pistol does not mean that every answer is that pistol. It's knowing when and how to use that weapon.
That's why I say that the bare minimum for concealed carry, anybody carrying concealed, the bare minimum is gun sight 250 and mag 40.
Yeah.
Gun sight 250 will teach you how to fight with a pistol. Mag 40 will teach you when to fight with a pistol.
Yes.
And when not to, which is more important.
Exactly. Yeah, those are key points. But the other thing is actually getting out and practicing. Yeah. Everything I need to know, I got from the honors manager. Yeah, right. And Kelly has heard from.
Gun sight.
Sarcastically, of course.
Gun sight. Back in the day, gun sight was the cutting edge in pistol work. Well, rifle work too, for that matter.
Mm-hmm.
It may be a little behind the cutting edge manipulation, but gun sight to this day is still the best place to learn how to fight with a gun, to learn the basics, to a basic foundation on how to fight with a gun. Colonel Cooper, where his true genius lay was learning how to fight with a pistol. Not, yes, he was good at getting rounds on target, but he taught the combat mindset better than anybody else I've ever studied under.
Yeah, that's true. Firing had better be your last resort. The other part, and this goes back to what Sarah said earlier, and now Rick has said, better to not go to stupid places and be around stupid people.
Yeah, well,
sometimes that's not a choice.
John Farnham was a genius too. However, sometimes ain't a choice.
Yeah. Yeah. And Dave Brock brings up a good point too. Cooper knew he didn't know everything and continued to learn. Yeah, not doing stupid things is a big one. Long arms, yeah, they're a completely different matter.
Okay, on to the book thing.
Okay.
Because I'm forgetting. So if I don't, Your Honor, I Can Explain will be launched August 25th, which means the closing date will be about sometime in July. We're coming up on July. Your Honor, I Can Explain. It's going to be the first of the Spurgle series.
Yeah.
It's got to be the stories in Your Honor, I Can Explain have to involve judging of some kind, an arbitration, military court, criminal court, civil court, even an arbitration of some kind, a priest making a judgment, anything. It must involve a judgment. It must somewhere in there.
John says it closes May the 31st.
For a launch in August? Oh, okay. Closes May 31st, apparently. Closes in May 31st. Got involved some sort of decision between folks. Like I said, a judge, an arbiter, arbitration, a military officer, a tribunal, you name it. And it has to involve Spurgle in some way. Spurgle he can be the main character. He can be a supporting character. He can be a walkthrough in one scene. But Spurgle has to be in there somewhere, and he has to be completely and totally incompetent. He has to be embarrassed. He has to be an embarrassment to himself in some way. I was looking at the. Hang on, John says it launches through the internet. It says right here, Your Honor, on August 25th.
Yeah. Second Lieutenant Spurkle. Yeah.
Yeah. No,
Okay, we have a disagreement.
I'm looking.
The wall calendar is wrong, according to John. Yes, Richard. Joe Buckley without the redeeming qualities.
Ian drag knuckles. Ian look at wall.
Wall calendar is out of date. Okay. Notice that it is in all caps.
Yes.
Google Calendar is right.
Ian look at wall. Wall say. I know what I'm doing tomorrow. I'm coming over here and redoing the wall calendar because that's embarrassing.
Yeah. Wallbanger says, "Yeah, leave to bang my wall."
Yeah, people update the wall right out of town.
So what's the actual date for Your Honor? I can explain.
So what's the actual die date? I like the way you think. It's all in the Google Calendar. Hang on, I can't look at it from here. I'll have an update Thursday. This is why I have a minder.
Yeah. Yeah. Typos are a thing.
It's on the RP Silent Ian's blog. Hang on, I can actually access the blog. Let's see here.
Oh, John is on a roll. All caps again.
Send them to your blog. Oh, I did a blog post today too.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I hit send just before we logged on. Let's see here. Raconteur Press. Done. Okay. Okay. According to Raconteur Press on the blog, it's due by 31 May. And we don't have a launch date. It's due by 31st of May. We'll launch it sometime.
Spurgle.
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 Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Spurgle. Some kind of legal court, military tribunal, king's court, just the peace, administrative hearing, felony court, adjudication, arbitration. Don't care. That's why I've done. Yes, it's exactly what I'm a production manager.
Auto corrupt for the win. Yes.
So May 31, end of the month, we need to have the Your Honor, I can explain stories. That's why she wanted me to. I need to stop looking at the wall calendar that's there so I know what's going on.
Postscript from Malta is due. Evan.
Bardic Council's good. I don't care. As long as there's passing judgment on something, I'll update the wall calendar.
Oh.
Do you remember the old days? God, I can't believe I just said that. When everybody knew that I got the magic elf box to working by sacrificing KFC to it.
Yeah. I remember people actually eating KFC.
We've got a rocket chicken in town. Why don't we eat KFC? And I'm here to tell you, if we can talk Nando's into putting something up here, I'll never darken KFC or rocket chicken again.
Yeah, it's funny how KFC back in the day, back in the 70s, was worldwide.
Oh yeah, there was a KFC in Abu Dhabi.
Yeah,
for God's sake.
Yes,
Article 15 will do.
Yeah.
Raising Cane's not bad. We haven't been there in a while.
Yeah, Raising Cane's got decent sauce.
I really like their take on remoulade sauce.
Yeah.
Like I said, if I can get a Pollo Loco or for preference a Nando's up here, I will never darken the door of a rocket chicken or KFC ever again.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of Bud Light, apparently they're now pushing Americanism commercials.
Of course they are.
And the latest one, I can give you that, Cedar, I think.
Need your tasso gravy recipe.
I gotta remember how the hell I make it.
That's good tasso gravy. I throw stuff at it till it tastes right.
A cup of coffee is required. Strong coffee.
That's why I like. That's why I like it.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot where the hell I was going with that.
Something about the 70s.
Oh yeah, well, KFC being all over the world. Literally, they were all over the world. There is, and again, showing my age, the secret spices in KFC were nothing more than powdered wishbone dressing. And that was pretty much proven back in the 70s because some scientist with way too much time on his hands got the KFC chicken, freeze dried a portion of the crust, and put it through a spectrometer and picked out all the bits.
I could have just asked Jim.
Yeah, exactly, Kelly. That's enough, Cher. Yeah,
That's enough shot.
yeah.
Kentucky Fried Velociraptor.
Yeah.
Kentucky
Oh,
Fried Chicken is
Bud Light. Bud Light.
Yes,
That's what I was.
Bud Light.
Anyway, Bud Light has put up a couple of Americanism commercials, and the latest one on YouTube, they actually turned off the comments to.
Yes, they did.
They're hurting.
I got in trouble for referring to Bud Light as tranny fluid.
Yeah. Well, that's true.
That's somebody asked me if I'm boycotting Bud Light. No. In order to boycott something, you have to have bought it to begin with.
Yeah.
If I'm going to drink an American lager, I'm going to drink a Shiner. But if I can't find a Shiner, I'm going to drink a Yingling. American lager is, I'm going to drink a Shiner or a Yingling. I mean,
Yeah. I'll drink Shiner what few times I drink, or believe it or not, PBR. Because that's what
I haven't seen a PBR in ages.
Yeah. And if can't find that, it would be Lone Star Long Necks. Because I grew up with Dixie, Jack's, Falstaff, and Schlitz when we were kids. And all of those are pretty much gone. I remember in New Orleans back in the 60s, late 60s, early 70s, had what they call Little Joes, which were the 7-ounce Schlitz.
That's dangerous.
Yeah. And they were like 30 cents, 35 cents. And back in those days, drinking age was 18. So
Not going there.
Huh?
Not going there. Not going to go there at all.
You and David both.
Not going there.
Nancy, if you like stouts, if you ever get a chance to get to England, go to Gordon's and get one of their 6X stouts.
Be prepared to chew it.
I swear they cut it with a knife to cut it off. Oh, y'all call them baby bulls. That's a new one, Victor. I never heard that one. We just call them Little Joes. Little Kings? I never heard of that.
In my day, beer came in clay bottles, and by God, we were grateful. Yes, that's how they built the pyramids.
Actually, there was a wine that came in a clay bottle. Well,
While you were building the pyramids,
I'm trying to remember. We used to get it out of Spain and the Azores. Wasn't Matus. What was the other one? There were two of them that we would always bring back. That in a big bag. I mean, literally stood about 4 feet high of fresh bread and goat cheese.
they brought back to the fjords.
Yeah. Yeah, there are some meads that even today ship in clay bottles.
No, it's American lagers. American lagers just aren't all that. To me, are all that in a bag of crisps.
Now I got to remember what the friggin' wine is.
Yeah, it went white. Well, American lagers just aren't all that in a bag of crisps, especially the Coors and Bud just don't. That's on the light. I said when this thing first, when this whole scandal first broke, I said that I like my water before it gets to the horse's kidneys. Thank you.
You never drank Primo, obviously.
You're right. I was overseas in Africa. I drank decent beer.
Yeah.
What are you looking?
I'm trying to remember what that other friggin' wine bottle was.
They stopped producing it in the 1780s, Jim. It's not going to be on the internet. Jim is busy researching.
I quit.
He's busy researching a wine.
Lancers. Yes, thank you, Carlton. Lancers Rosé. That was it. So somebody else on here is as old as I am.
Yes, there's another.
Barley pop. That's a good one. Yeah, the mass-produced stuff is, if you've been in Europe, you've been out overseas, mass-produced stuff in the U.S. sucks.
For those of you who don't realize what Kelly is referring to in the comments when he states, all I know is don't assume that's wine in the wine bottle. There is a very nice bourbon, a very high-test, high-proof bourbon, comes in a wine bottle. And our dear friend Kelly saw the wine bottle and took a wine swig of high-test bourbon. And if you think my hard drive glitched for a second, you should have seen Kelly's.
Yeah. The grin was absolutely hilarious, though.
After his eyes got done spinning.
Yeah. Justin Wilson called it five foot foam on the top. Yeah. The only really decent beer back then was Dixie. And Dixie went out of business for a few years. And apparently it's come back a little bit, at least from what I'm hearing. Is that right, Kelly?
You're asking Kelly about Dixie beer?
Yeah.
Man is a confirmed Shiner drinker. He gets annoyed when he's out of state and they don't have Shiner on tap.
Kelly did not start out drinking Shiner. Trust me.
Sir Brass, I don't remember what bourbon it was. I was laughing too hard. But there's a picture of it somewhere on Facebook. I'll bet Kelly will remember. Ish.
Microbreweries were a thing in California back in the late 70s, early 80s. And they would sometimes be interesting. You could go in and get a flight, quote, quote, of their options.
I swore off Dixie beer in 1987 after the great turtle noodling incident.
There's a story there. And I'm not sure I want to hear it.
Were you intentionally noodling for turtles, or did you get turtle noodling for something else?
Yeah, probably the latter.
Yeah.
As you pull out 3 fingers gone. Oh, that was not a catfish.
Don't think that was a catfish.
No, Evan, you reach in the hole with your hand.
If you want noodling, there's this little bitty Alabama gal named Hannah Barron. And when I say little bitty, she is a wee slip of a girl. She is, and she is a hell of a catfish noodler. And to watch her come out of the water with a fish bigger than she is, is something else. Because I think she's maybe 5 foot tall.
Yeah, and she'll dive down and go under the water.
Yeah, Hannah is. I said she might be 5 foot, and that little bit is fearless.
Yeah, 8-foot piece of rebar and some great sense of feel. Yeah, they are not synonymous, Sir Brass. You are exactly correct.
Cedar's pointing out there's a lot of turtles in Gordon Lake. Yes, there are.
Yeah.
there's a lot fewer than there used to be. The rats on the dam started getting the turtle eggs, and we don't have nearly as many turtles this year as we've had in previous years.
Ham's beer, that's not one I'm familiar with. Must be one of the damn Yankee beers again.
Oh.
Yeah, rats.
Yeah,
The snake population is down, the rat population is up.
that and the
Minnesota, that's why.
rats moved into town, chased in by the coyotes and the foxes
Yeah.
and the bobcats. They were the 7-year drought we had. The coyotes and the predators chased the rats into town. About the same time, the town got a massive case of the dumb and started culling the feral cat population.
Yeah.
The feral cat's the only thing keeping the rats at bay. And when the town proudly cleaned all the feral cats off the streets, the rats went, yay! And like rats will.
Yeah. It's always those unintended consequences.
Oh, yes.
Like the years where you could not shoot a spike buck in Texas. Yeah. And so you got a whole bunch of spike bucks year after year after year. And they finally went, oh, maybe we made a mistake. And then there were years where you could take up to 4 spike bucks. You could only take 2 does, but you could take 4 spike bucks.
I'd rather, you know me, I'd rather shoot doe anyway.
Yeah. Well, doe tastes better.
Doe tastes better.
Honest officer, I thought it was a doe. Yeah, that's happened.
I was talking to a game warden a couple of days ago, and those of you, for the longest time, I thought the rattlesnakes that wouldn't rattle was a urban myth.
No.
Talking to a local game warden, he said that no, the snakes have figured out if they rattle, hogs come running because hogs love them some rattlesnake. So every time they hear rattle going off, hogs show up for the buffet, and the rattlesnakes, while they are reptiles, are not exactly stupid. Well, they are stupid, but they can learn.
Yeah.
And they've learned if they rattle, they're fixing to meet great tusk of death. So a whole bunch of rattlesnakes in this area have stopped rattling out of sheer self-preservation.
Yeah. And that's getting passed down generation to generation.
Yeah, surviving rattlesnakes learned. This is correct.
So no longer are you going to get warning, and rattlesnakes will strike as a preference rather than running away like a copperhead will.
They're not that fast.
Yeah.
And yeah, yet another reason to hunt hogs.
Yeah.
The thing of rattlesnakes is that about 50% of rattlesnake strikes are dry. The snakes can choose whether to inject venom or not. And about half
Kelly got one of those.
Did he?
Yeah.
About half the time that they won't light you up. What they will do is all of the funk and the diseases that science is just now getting around to are on those 8-penny nail fangs.
Yeah.
And tetanus is the least of your worries from a dry rattlesnake bite.
That's why snake boots in Texas are a thing.
Oh, yeah.
And actually most of the Southwest. Sidewinders are another one that'll hit you just for the hell of it. Yeah.
Kelly, did you got a rattlesnake hit?
Yeah, that was a Blogger Auto.
I must have been when I wasn't at.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, Kelly.
Yeah, lots of antibiotics if you do get dry bit, because it's basically injecting crap into your body.
Rattlesnake venom is a hemotoxin.
Yeah.
It's anticoagulant, if I remember right.
Yeah, and it also will run through the bloodstream in a hurry. Yeah. Monitor lizards. That's another one.
Yeah, most reptile mouths have some really funky soup going on.
Yeah. Evan, that's probably the best description of a copperhead I've ever seen. Copperheads stink. You can smell them.
Yes,
And they are dumber than dirt. I remember we were scout camp and 3 people had gone over this log. And the 4th guy went to step, went, why is that? Oh, that's a snake. 3 guys in front of him had stepped on a copperhead. And the copperhead finally went, huh? What? And he did not last long after that.
The family mats used to be in Electra, west of here, was backed up to Wagner's pasture.
Yeah.
It was on half an acre connected to Wagner's pasture. You went over, there was a dirt road. You went over the dirt road, you're in Wagner's pasture. So it was miles and miles and miles and miles out there. And when Rita first moved up here, she stayed in the family mats for a while. And Chewy was a puppy. Chewy is half dachshund, half Chihuahua, the Chewini. It wasn't real big at the time. Little bitty little puppy. And she let him out. And rattlesnake about yay big got him on the paw. He'd had an issue with bitey snakes ever since, or bitey sticks ever since. But after they moved out, Chris and I were the next door neighbors. Chris called us, or the next door neighbor called me and Chris over, and she had a bull snake in a coiled up hose.
Yeah.
So Hatch makes some fantastic stab-proof gloves. I recommend them. Look, it's a bull snake, and because reptile mouths are full of funk, and you don't want to get bitten by a bull snake anyway, because you tetanus and everything else. I put on the Hatch gloves and snatched his little no-shoulder butt out of the coil of hose and realized I was holding a juvenile prairie rattler. And I realized this when the little squirmy little bastard turned around and hooked his fang in the Kevlar reinforced thumb of my gloves. And Chris said I shrieked like a New Haven fishwife and flung that snake. Hello.
Have a good one.
I fast pitched Jake No Shoulders just as hard as I could. And he's got a spot to talk because he was following this bouncy snake with a machete like a Ginsu Viking, cussing the snake and chopping it in little bitty pieces over about a 10-yard stretch of lawn.
Yeah. Yeah, Nancy, I also have a snake in the boat story. Some people are scared of coral snakes dropping a boat. We were trot lining down in Bayou Noir down in South Louisiana, my cousin and I, Tijon, with his daddy's Piro. And we're picking up the trot line. And the way you do that is you pick up the trot line and whoever's in the front of the boat shines the headlight that you've got hooked to a car battery onto the trot line, and you count the number of hooks and the number of fish before you bring in the boat. So we were doing that, and it was just about dark, a little after dark. And, I'm holding it up. He's counting. He's okay. So I drop in the boat, and I hear thunk, slither. And he heard the same thing, and he was over the step, had the headlight pointed down, and there's a water moccasin like this in the middle of the boat. I didn't even think about it. I grabbed 12 gauge, boom, boom, boom. Maybe twice more. I killed a snake.
You ran that tube dry, didn't you?
Ran that tube dry and blew the bottom out of the boat. and we're sinking, and we're in the middle of the swamp. And we had to walk through the swamp back to the house, which was not fun. And oh, by the way, we're also out of ammo because we didn't bring any extra. Yes, I should have known better. Well, this was before I went in the Navy, Sir Brass. I was like a 16-year-old kid, 15, 16, somewhere around in there.
And for how many years did your ears ring after that incident?
Oh, God, many. So we finally get back. And of course, Uncle is pissed.
His boat's at the bottom of the swamp.
Yeah. So the next morning, we got to go back and get the boat. Snake shot probably would not have blown out the bottom. Probably not. However, I'm pretty sure that 12 gauge was loaded with double up buck.
I should hope so.
David, I don't know because we were pretty much walking on water getting out of there.
410 makes a great snake gun. There
Yeah.
used to be what they called a snake charmer.
Yeah, handy gun.
Yeah, and it was a little pistol gripped 410 break open single shot with either 4 or 5 rounds kept in the butt.
Yeah.
A really good little snake gun.
Yeah. Noah was not my first CO. Only good use for the judge. Yeah.
Judge is a lot of fun for teaching people to shoot.
Yeah.
They're heavy enough. There's not a lot of recoil.
But everybody talks about pistols and snake shot. No. Unless you're very lucky or you shoot at very close range, snake shot is not all that great.
Well, especially not a rifle barrel.
Yeah. If you want to, yeah, too bad they don't make them anymore. Yeah, that's true. A lot of the good, quote, quote, guns from back in the teens, 20s, 30s are all gone. Handgun being one of them. I saw that. Grandpa, we were, I guess I was 10 or 11, maybe 12. We were out at the quarry over by Texarkana shooting, and he had his handgun sitting up on the hood of the car. And some of the law enforcement folks happened to come out to shoot, and they got to looking at it and said, Mr. Curtis, you know that gun's illegal. I said, what do you mean? I said, well, you know, the NFA, you know, that gun is now prohibited because it's too short a barrel.
Grandfather, bite me.
And Grandpa basically said, you want it, you can take it.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And they went, oh, never mind. He did dispose of it somewhere. I still haven't figured out where. But
I just remember the meme with the ATF agents saying, hey, is that a short barrel rifle? And the guy saying, hey, are those level 4 plates?
Yeah. Yeah. And Julian
Suck
point,
it, Frank.
22 pistol snake shot sucks in a pond. Yeah, because it'll go about 2 inches underwater.
It was in a boat you sank during the shooting, Jim. There used to be something called a garden gun that was in 1800s, and it was a smoothbore 9mm smoothbore that took a 9mm shot shell that was for shooting pests in city yards. And
Howdah pistol, yeah.
Howdah. I fired a Howdah pistol. I've got arthritis now. Howdah pistol, for those of you who don't know, a Howdah pistol was a bloody huge bore something or other that was carried in a scabbard in the howdah on the back of a an elephant when you were hunting. Because if you pissed off the tiger, you use the howdah gun to scrape the angry tiger off your elephant. So it was 12-inch 10 bore,
Yeah.
10 gauge.
Large.
Yeah. 577,
450.
577 rimfire, 5-shot revolver, or a 2-shot 10 or 12-inch 10 gauge. Because when you want to scrape a tiger off your elephant, you need to go big.
Yeah.
Go big or go home.
Hey, Bill, good to see you. Wish you'd have come in earlier because you're a gun guy. You would have enjoyed the discussions today. Howdah and 45 long Colt 410.
That doesn't really count.
Yeah.
The howdah guns had to be big.
Yeah.
I am not shooting a pissed off tiger with a 45 Colt. Sorry. It
Yeah.
can be done. I know it can be done. Angry tigers move quick, and they're full of sharp and pointies with hydraulic presses behind them.
That are nasty.
I want to hit it with a cannonball.
Yeah.
I'm never ever going to hunt tigers off the back of an elephant. However, should that happen, I want something chambered at 105 millimeter.
Yeah. Oh, sorry to hear that, Bill. A swivel gun, yeah. Can and should are not synonymous. No, they're not.
Howdah gun had a specific purpose.
Ooh, legal double barrel short barrel shotgun. That's interesting.
If it was built from the ground up with short barrels, it's a pistol.
Yeah.
I think. Don't quote me on that, because the federal gun laws in this country are so damn confusing that.
And getting worse.
Whenever somebody asks me, is this legal? I don't know. I really don't know. I suspect a smooth bore that comes from the factory with a short barrel and no stock, like a Taurus Judge, I think that's legal, but don't quote me on that. Because fucking the ATF, I was going to say something nasty.
Yeah. Well, it's true. The confusion is intentional. That's a good point, Richard. They're determined to make us all criminals, one way or the other.
They're determined to get rid of guns.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that the what's name, Gabby Giffords, actually came out and said the quiet part.
Yeah.
She said it out loud. She said that they were asking her because her whole shtick is AR-15s, and somebody caught her on camera. I saw the video a couple weeks ago on Facebook. Caught her on camera saying they know banning all guns. Europe is that way. Knock yourselves out.
Yeah. Now, Gordon says it's built as an other. It is legal.
I don't know.
Speaking of which, speaking of weird things,
that could go so many different directions.
The early AR-15 is now classified for CNR.
Yeah, no kidding, right?
Yeah. That's scary.
What's going to come up the next 10 years of CNR is,
yeah.
Woo, ATF's about shit kittens. It's going to be glorious.
Yeah. Well, if you think about it, it was 61 years from Kitty Hawk to the landing on the moon.
Well, you would know. What?
Jesus. Yeah, no comment on Kelly or Giffords. Yeah.
Jim's going to smack you.
Yes, Cedar did go out and buy a nice little pistol.
Yes, she did. Speaking of Cedar, there's the picture from Tolcon.
Yeah.
Where we're doing the Malta panel. And the question is to spot the hungover people on the panel. And you've got John Van Stry at one end, who's looking like John. Then you've got Courtney next to him, who's looking bright and perky. And for the life of me, I don't know how the hell that girl was looking bright and perky. Then you've got Kelly, who looks like death warmed over. And you've got Regan. And then Jim came in later. And standing in the back, I'm using the wall to hold me up. And Cedar's standing next to me. And we have come to the conclusion that Cedar was there to catch me if I started to wobble, because I did not look good.
Yeah, Kermit, I would dearly love to have a Colt Walker, especially one with a provenance that goes with it. But I don't have a spare $1 million laying around. And that's about what they're going for.
Walkers are?
An original Walker Colt, yes.
Bloody hell. All right then.
The Gonzalez one sold for $970,000 before the premium. And that was 5 years ago now.
Yeah, Courtney, that picture of Courtney, she is disgustingly cheerful.
Yeah.
Kelly was not. Of course, he was fighting a DVT at the same time he didn't know about,
Yeah.
but he also had half of a couple of bottles of oil fire.
Yeah.
The part I didn't kill, Kelly killed. And I've turned into a lightweight. Holy gods, I've turned into a lightweight. And I was hungover.
Oh, wow, Evan. 45 Colt load that pushes 300 grains at 1670.
What?
That's
a 4570.
Yeah.
That's a 4570.
Rafter, a suggestion on a 22 for your collection would be, depending on what you want to do with it, there's a Plinker, a Ruger Mark IV. Do not get a Mark III, Mark II, or Mark I.
The Mark 1, 2, and 3 Rugers are, well, as I used to call it, T512, are great pistols. But when you take it apart for cleaning, it's a Chinese puzzle.
Yes.
And there are a significant number of gunsmiths who make a tidy coffee money from people coming in with a Ruger in a bag and having them put it back together. The Mark IV solves this problem. You can take apart a Mark IV for cleaning and put it back together without needing a PhD in arcane engineering.
Yeah. So that would be one choice. The other choice would be to get a 22 in your carry pistol. Well, the reason I say that, a lot of companies now are making 22s and 9mm that are functionally similar, size, weight, everything else. And it's a lot cheaper to shoot 22 for training than it is to shoot 9mm. Most of the time when I go to the range, I start with a 22 and end with a 22.
Yeah.
Because I want to see if I'm getting any recoil averse reactions or anything else before I quit.
Pecan. We need to mention Pecan. I'm gonna go check the wall calendar that's up there for your technology deficient boss.
Yeah, Gordon, Glock 19 and Glock 44. I'm surprised that it took Glock this long to release the 44.
Pecan. It's 15th to the 18th. Okay, folks, Pecan is a new convention starting up the weekend of the 15th of September down in Dallas. It's taking place the old FinCon. We're going to be there. We may make it the Rackettle Press home convention. We're not sure yet. Pecan, P-C-O-N Nora, Pecan. It's on Facebook. We're hoping to make it a really good little convention. We're going to be representing at Pecan and generally being in the bar, having a good time, and I will be dodging booze. Damn.
We're pretty much done with FinCon after the way they treated conservatives last year. Yes, Chuck Gannon is the guest of honor, and Jane Lindskold is the fantasy guest of honor. And both of them are great people.
But Chuck Gannon's a really, you should get Chuck sat down and talking about science fiction and then just hang on.
Yes, she will, Julie.
We're going to do our best to make Pecan a really great little con. I said, it's close by. It's within 2 hours of where we live.
Yep.
And good folks. This is the first one ever. We'll see if we can start Pecan off with a bang and make it a popular little con.
Differ. It's not pecan. It's pecan.
Pecan. So it's September, the weekend, September 15th this year. If you're in the area, get a membership, buy a membership to Pecan and come by and make it a blast. Make it a fun Make it a fun little con.
Bill's poking you again.
I'm being poked. Why am I being poked? Ian, come visit. I'm trying.
Pecan pies. Yeah, Padre, that could be doable. I make a pretty good pecan pie. That's
Yeah.
about the only thing I can make.
So pecan in Dallas, the DFW area. I don't think it's actually Dallas, but that whole damn mess is Dallas.
Yeah.
It's in the Metro mess. Weekend of September 15th. Y'all need to come.
Yeah.
Come support a good little con, a non-judgmental. Invite everybody's welcome to attend a little con, and we will be in the bar having a good time. I will be dodging drinks.
Gordon, I hope Taylor will be invited. I'm not sure he'll be able to attend. He's having a lot of physical issues.
Oh, I hate to hear that.
Yeah. He was interested in coming up to Fool's Con and couldn't make it. But, it's Taylor Anderson. If you haven't read his books, he is a professor here in Texas at a college. And he also is an expert in ballistics and cannons, and also one hell of an author. And you can find him on Amazon. Highly recommend his books. They're excellent reads. Okay, Gordon.
Do not get me the reactor scrapings. I will not drink that stuff. I like good booze. It will be September, so I'll probably be tending more towards gin and tonics. Or
you just said you were
spritzers.
going to avoid booze. You're giving them a list.
I'm going to avoid booze.
Yeah.
However, I've got to have one because I'll guarantee you I'll be on a panel somewhere. Give Kelly the reactor scrapings. That man will drink anything. Give those to Kelly. I will pour him the reactor scrapings and watch him giggle. I am not drinking that stuff.
Oh, the other thing interesting is NRA will be in Dallas next year.
Really?
Yeah.
That was quick.
Yeah.
Weren't they just in Dallas a couple years ago?
Houston. They haven't been in Dallas in probably 5 or 6 years.
I may have to go to the NRA.
Yeah.
Go by and see if I can. No, we won't go there.
Yeah. Medicinal booze only. Yeah, right. Yeah.
Courtney is doing the
India.
programming. Ian will be on panels.
NRA was in Indy this year. That is correct. We were not able to make it because that was also the same weekend as Fool's Con.
Yeah. If I show up in Dallas with a sack of dead trout,
yeah,
I will be going to the NRA convention and looking for Wayne LaPierre.
Yeah. Yeah, David, some things are more important than others, and a wedding anniversary trumps the con by a long shot.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
It was 2019, David, and it was it was interesting for the protesters, all 20 of them.
It's always interesting for
who were 3 blocks away and corralled by the Metro Dallas Police Department.
No.
Yeah.
Poor Eccles. I like going to the NRA convention. I get to meet folks, much like it's just another con. I run across people at the conventions that I hate to say this. There's folks Jay Grazio and a bunch of other folks that around the NRA that I know. I go to visit and I fiddle around with who is gun, and I make people upset by field stripping their pistol right there in front of them, and it gets them annoyed.
Not as bad as Matt and I did with the Colt Mustang.
Pretty sure Remington has my picture up. Do not let this man touch the R-51s.
Yeah. We do have a habit of, shall we say, examining the items rather more closely than most people.
I was trying to figure out why the R-51 had a trigger pull like an anchor chain through a box of rocks.
Yeah.
So I was looking at it, and it's like, oh, that's why I look up, and there's a Remington Rep, because I've got a handful of pieces.
Julie, put that on Facebook in the Pecan group. That'd be a good way to get him invited.
Eric July?
Yeah.
Who's Eric July?
He draws comics.
Oh.
Yeah, Sarah,
you're not supposed to field strip the demo items. Have you watched me on this thing?
Sarah, what happened with us was the project manager for the Mustang 2 was there and happened to walk over when Matt and I were looking at it. And he started describing what they had done to correct it from the old Mustangs. So proceeded to take the pistol apart. And he says, here, let me have that piece. And we did this, this, and this here. You know, and we're sitting there, and Matt has huge hands. I mean, the entire pistol, he has disappeared a Glock 42 or 48.
Mm-hmm. No, literally 42.
You could not see it in his hand.
Yep.
That's how big his hand is. And he's looking at it and fiddling with it. And I look around, there's about 30 people standing there going, maybe we ought to put it back together. So we put it back together and put it back and snuck away.
I'll have you know, I reassembled that R51 in about as much time as it took me to take it apart.
Yeah.
It's not that difficult. And my squirrels I'd had a bad day.
Yeah.
When you've got, people going, hey, Ian, bumping on the shoulders to go by, people going, was that? Shut up.
Oh, well, then we got over to Les's booth and you got to playing with the
Les
9
Bears.
millimeter.
Yeah. Ooh, 9 millimeter. And Les Bears watch me take it apart with approval.
Yeah. Les expects that.
Because y'all have seen me on here. This should not be a surprise. When I get nervous and my squirrels they like looking at the insides of things.
Hey, David, I've got one at the house that would be interesting to see you trying to get the bushing spring out.
On an R51?
No.
Oh.
On the little one I got.
There's no difficulty in getting the bushing spring out of an R51. It goes all on its own.
Yeah. 3 pieces left over to funk. Now that's a Volkswagen Beetle.
That's a show.
Yeah.
Show machine gun or squad automatic weapon was a piece of crap that worked better when it was disassembled.
Yes, Les does have confidence in their quality. He will tell you it's a 2,000 round break-in on his guns.
Mm-hmm. And he's not lying.
Yeah. He builds the tightest 1911s on the market. Elder Squirrels. That's an art prompt.
And they're all at a rave.
And on that note, I think we're going to call it quits.
Eldritch squirrels at a rave. Okay, that's a new mental description for my squirrels. Okay, guys.
We've done books. We've done guns. We did beer. We're back on guns. Cigars.
Thank you, Ben, for the cigars.
Oh, yes.
Jim and Ian, thank you for your hospitality. Enjoy, Ben Hunsinger. We got the note, too.
Yeah.
Is this a one-time thing?
Hopefully.
Tell me this is a one-time thing. Falcons and Malta release date. Give me one. Late one. 26 May. Falcons and Malta drops 26 May. Unless, the wall thing is incorrect.
Oh, the calendar lies. Now we did not cover food today. All right. Y'all have a good one. Be safe. And hang in there, folks.
It's all good.
It's all good. Remember, don't sweat the petty stuff. Don't pet the sweaty stuff. We'll see you later.
Wait. What are y'all discussing? We're discussing that this morning. What are we discussing?
I don't know.
Oh, just
Yeah, I'm afraid to ask.
That's squirrels.
Yeah.
Ooka.
Bye.
Bye.
Uncle, really?